well, I'm not part of the off-road community, but I do have a 3/4 ton Ram diesel, and I think I can add to the discussion about tow rigs when you're talking about balling your tow rig on a budget. Talk about some simple modifications you can make to really make your tow rig the best it can be. Step one, I think, which is one thing, this is like day one stuff here, is tow mirrors. If you're not driving around with your tow mirror out constantly, even if you're not towing anything, then get rid of your truck, because that's probably something you should be doing all day, every day, if you're gonna have a truck like this. You know, Chevy and Ford have their different mechanism for extending their tow mirrors, but either way, you really don't have an excuse. If you're going to be driving around, you should just have that out like that all the time, especially if you're going to be, you know, going through drive-throughs and stuff like that. Who doesn't want to lean halfway out their car just to get their order from McDonald's? And one thing I also like to point out is I haven't done a lot of the modifications that I'm going to talk about, but that's because I like to go slow, take it slow, make sure I'm doing the things I really want to do. One of the things that I've noticed a lot of tow rigs have that I have yet to do is you need to pick a corner on your truck, a corner or a door, and crush it. You need to bring, like, this part here preferably should be crushed like up to here at a minimum, and then don't fix it. Obviously, you got to have a nice truck like this. You got to ding it terribly, and then just leave it the entire time you own the truck. Just leave it like that. If you're really advanced on this, you really, in all actuality, should like crush a corner of the fender and also mess the bumper up so it's hanging out a little bit. You want that bumper hanging out, maybe in a V shape or whatever. And if you're really skilled, you want to do it to the point where there's like a ridge in your bed so that you can't ever lay anything flat in there ever again. That's I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready to go to that level or not yet. As you can see, I got a little dent right here, but that's beginner stuff. Like, really, you want this at least this far back if you're gonna do something like that to your bumper, if you want a custom bumper like that. Some other things I'm thinking about doing, this guy right here, what you want to do with this is you want to take like a hammer or a screwdriver and just like bang the hell out of it until it's all messed up and hanging out. Maybe, or the best is if you're hanging below your bumper. Like I said, I'm kind of new to this stuff, so right now just my 4-pin hangs. But if you're really serious about this guy here should be all screwed up and hanging out, barely usable. My license plate being gone doesn't have anything to do with the modifications. I just don't want my license plate on the internet. Some other stuff you can do here in the back. A lot of guys see these. What these are your truck nuts hangers. I know truck nuts aren't cool anymore because they're not original. So what you want to do is you want to make your own, like with like a piece of chain and two big nuts from some industrial application, or a couple pistons or something like that. But you need to be hanging something from these. They shouldn't be hanging empty like this. The other thing here is you'll notice my drawbar. This is a 12,000 pound rated drawbar on a class 4-5 hitch. That's actually overkill. You can probably get away with like a U-Haul class 3 drop bar with a ball that you got from Harbor Freight. You're fine. A Harbor Freight ball with like a 1-inch shank that's really only rated for 5,000 pounds. That's probably going to get you by. Don't let anybody tell you that this drawbar stuff is, you know, serious. You know, that's really overkill. I'll probably dump that and get something else. Or you want one of those aluminum ones that's adjustable, but it's rated for like 5,000 pounds. Some other things I'd like to point out is if you're really serious about this, you need to ditch this tailgate. Especially if your tailgate has a spoiler on it like this, because obviously that's a huge wind block. You're going to hear things from engineers like fluid dynamics and computational flow calculations and stuff like that that they've done on trucks that prove that the tailgate being up is actually the optimal position for the tailgate for aerodynamics and mileage. But what those engineers don't know is you know more than them. So kick that tailgate right off. Another thing too is, if you're going to take your tailgate off, there's absolutely no reason to tie down anything in the back of your truck. It'll stay in there and it'll never fall out. So that's just kind of my 2 cents worth as far as this balling on a budget stuff goes. There's so much more I could get into, but those are just a few quick things to get you started. You know, find yourself a light pole in a parking lot, run right into that. Probably should be one of the first things you should do, and get those tow mirrors out. Thanks.